welcome to Rocket Pod Sports. This is our second episode, and we have got the privilege of being at Millwall Football Club for the interview with Joké Amechi, my friend and boxer and footballer, and our creative director on Rocket, Xander Dobson.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Thanks for coming, guys. This is an interesting episode for me because I have the privilege of knowing Joké, and I think I have the privilege of calling you a friend after you've played a lot for my football team, International Surrey Football, over the last few months. You're also a boxing prospect, 3-0 fighter at super-bantamweight. But you've also got this incredible backstory, which is why we're here today, to talk about you and your life and your career. And you're a very modest, very down-to-earth, very humble guy. So I know that it doesn't always naturally come to you to be able to do that, but we're going to ask you a little bit about what makes you tick, what has made you the man, the fighter, and the left-back that you are. So I guess the best place for us to start is really your kind of early life. And what kind of created this sense in you of motivation and wanting to be a footballer, wanting to be a boxer, because you dipped your toe into football long before you ever laced up your gloves?
Yeah.
What was it like kind of growing up? Did you find your parents were giving you that kind of grounding in life? Did sport come naturally?
So I would say, so I'm the youngest of 3 older siblings, and so I've got an elder sister and then 2 older brothers, and my 2 older brothers were quite sporty,
Right.
so I think I tried to follow suit in that respect. And it's funny because I remember, it's just come to me now, I remember when I was younger, my 2 older brothers were playing football just in a local like adventure playground, and I remember they were playing something called crossbar challenge. They were just trying to hit the crossbar, ping it from about the halfway line to the crossbar.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that, and I remember being frustrated and just trying. I wasn't technically the best as a footballer, but one thing that stood out was I was very fast. I remember get the ball, just run headless like a headless chicken, just get the ball and run. But then, as you get older, you keep doing it. You develop IQ, and from there I just started to what developed from just running. I developed more work rate. It was more work rate, hunger, tenacity, and that's what a team player, and that's what kind of just led me to just continue to play football. I wasn't the best, but I would give that team 100%, whatever team I played for at that time. And yeah, one thing just led to another with football. My parents, so my dad, so I'm originally, my parents are from Nigeria. I was born in Nigeria, came here quite young. My dad worked in Nigeria, he was a barrister. My mum came over with all 4 children, and I was quite fortunate. And I remember this, and this is kind of plays a key part into what I'm trying to do now as well. I remember that when I would go to football games, everyone had their parents there, their mums, their dads shouting, cheering them on the sideline. I went with my good friend Warren. His mum and dad would take us. His mum and dad were the one that would shout, "Come on, Warren, come on, Joké." I never had that. And I remember that till this day, even being a dad now, my daughter's only 2, I know when I take her into any sporting activity, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be shouting, doing handstands for her. Come on, you know what I mean? So in terms of my sporting ability, that's just where it came from. My older brothers played football. I then joined the football team. My good friend Warren, his parents took us, and I remember feeling like I wish my mum was here, or I wish my dad was here to see that. But yeah, they weren't. But yeah, just continued. I loved the feeling of sport, being active.
You know, obviously it's a big leap, isn't it, from a team sport to an individual sport like boxing. You know, lacing up your gloves and going through those ropes is such a huge thing. I always respect anyone who can do that. What made you think that was for you, like that individual sport, really, having been so used to football?
So it was literally watching Mayweather Pacquiao fight with a few of my friends, Andrei and Samuel, and my friend Lewis. And I remember after that fight, I said, I could do this. And they were like, it's not like football. I remember this conversation. They said, it's not like football. Like, no, I could do this. That being said, I've always had heart. I'm not the biggest guy. I've always had heart in terms of my two older brothers, again, always said to me, Joké, you don't go out and cause trouble, but if trouble ever comes your way, you handle yourself, you defend yourself. They were bad growing up. I can't lie to you. They had a bit of involved in certain things, a bit of a name growing up. I was known as, oh, that's Chima's younger brother, that's Chiza's, don't touch him, that's, kind of mentality.
Yeah.
But I was oblivious to it all. But I hated injustices. And I noticed growing up, a lot of men are cowards, honestly. A lot of men are cowards. And I had stupid street fights, school fights, where I just defended myself. So, fast forwarding, after watching this Mayweather Pacquiao, I thought I could do this. I've got heart. Why not? I wanted to keep fit. I thought, let me do it as extra fitness. And the next day, I Googled local boxing clubs. And then I found Double Jab ABC, which is based in New Cross. Trained. I remember my coach there at the time said, what do you want to do? I said, I just want to do it for extra fitness. Started hitting pads, training. They were like, you got good ability, would you like to compete? Like, maybe after a year, see how it goes. And again, the rest was history.
Nice. Cool. So I want to take it back a little bit. You mentioned a little bit, something happened when you were 17, when you were just a teenager. What happened? How did that shape who you are now, and how does it feel being where you're at now and reflecting back at what happened at the time?
So when I was 17 in college, I was a victim of a knife attack, where I nearly lost my life. I was stabbed 3 times. So that same mentality of never backing down, that my brothers, if trouble comes your way, you defend yourself. So I was I left Lewisham College, Lewisham Way. There's a bus stop and there's a set of stairs. I was sitting at the top of the stairs. There's a small brick wall. And I remember just waiting for my bus, ready to go home, and a young guy had gone up the stairs, tried to enter the college. But prior to that, he was trying to talk to some girls. The girls walked away into the college. He's tried to follow them. Security at the front of the college said to him, like, no, you don't go to this college, go away. He's created a commotion, and naturally, if there's a commotion, you look in that direction. And I remember I just looked, and as he was leaving, as he was walking back, he's walked past me, and he said to me, what are you looking at? And I was just like, what do you mean, what am I looking at? You're looking at me, I'm looking at you, what's the problem? Like I mentioned, I was a bit cocky. I said it. I just felt like the audacity. Like
to even ask.
It peed me off, if I'm honest. And so I responded like that, and he said to me, "Do you think you're bad?" And I was like, "No, I don't think I'm bad."
Here we go.
Exactly that. Just that mentality of just ignorance and. So he's walked up to me. I'm still sitting down, by the way. He's walked up to me, and I thought. In my head, I thought, what's going to happen? And as he's walked up to me, he like stamped his foot like to try and make me flinch, which I did, but I flinched and I grabbed him. I've come off the wall, grabbed him, I've swiped his feet, fallen to the floor. I've just got on top of him, started hitting him. Security have come, separated us. The boys got up, he's ran off. Watch, and he's ran off. And security was like, this was the same boy who was just trying to get into the college. Could you write a statement? We're going to let the police know he keeps doing this. It was a bit stupid of me in the sense of, I said, yeah, fine, I've gone back into the college, but I didn't think anything would happen after that. I've gone back into Lewisham College, and there's the reception area has huge glass doors. Where you can see directly into. So I've gone in, sat down, there was a lady behind the reception desk. They've given me a piece of paper, security vanished somewhere, I don't know where they've gone. I've gone to start writing basically what happened. About 5-10 minutes later, I see a group of 6 to 8 boys with poles and bats walk past that huge glass. At this moment, I was wishing it could have been like bricks, so they couldn't see me, but they've walked by. And I'm just watching them walk by, and then they've turned and seen me, and pointed to me.
What did you feel like? Did your heart drop?
Yeah, it was just like, it was. It almost felt like when I proposed to my wife. at that moment, because at that moment it was like, nerves. I'm not gonna lie. I saw 8 boys, black boys, poles, bats. Boom, like, here we go. They've walked in, pushed the doors over, walking towards me. I'm sitting at a desk at this point. As they've got closer, I've stood up at the desk, and then one of them said, "Why are you troubling my younger brother for?" And I said, "Your brother came to me. I didn't trouble him. Your brother came to me."
Yeah.
And then I was about to say something else. Before I finished my sentence, someone's hit me. And I grabbed the closest person next to me, just kind of tried to use them as a shield.
Yeah.
I was getting hit with poles and bats. And I was just trying to just dodge, evade as best I could. It's only in hindsight I remember the guy I was holding, he kept doing like that motion, and I believe he's the one who stabbed me. I can't say 100% sure, but I'm 90% sure because he's the one I was holding. And I just remember him just at my legs.
Because the adrenaline was just rushing through you. So
where were you stabbed, Joké? Just remind me. I'm sure you told me before.
Yeah, so I was stabbed 3 times in my thigh. Well, one kind of like side of my bum cheek, and 2 in my thigh, my left thigh. It wasn't until the receptionist lady, she screamed like, "Oh my God, you're bleeding!" I was wearing light blue jeans like yourself, and I remember looking down and the blood just spreading. Everything went into slow motion at that point. I never knew what shock was until like everything went into slow motion. The receptionist lady, I don't know her name. I think she left. I think she quit her job after.
Really?
Yeah, because I never saw her again once. So I didn't get her name. I can't. She ran round. She told me to lay down, keep talking to her. She applied pressure to my leg. She told me to keep talking. She quickly ran back to her desk, got scissors, cut my jeans. She must have been first aid trained because she responded so quick. Said keep talking, keep talking.
That's great.
Her voice was just echoing. I can't remember what I was saying to her.
Did you pass out? Did you wake up in the hospital? Or?
I didn't pass out. I remember just saying to myself like, "Please God, don't let me die. Please God, don't let me die." And soon after, I was taken to ambulance came in. I think I closed my eyes and I was taken into the back of the ambulance. I didn't pass out, but everything just felt so, it just blurry. Everything's moving slow, noises sound distorted. The stab wounds were burning. I was asked before, what did it feel like? And the best way to, at the time I didn't feel the stab wounds, but after a while everything's sitting in. The stab wounds feel like when your hand's cold and you put your hands on a radiator and then it starts to burn. If you leave your hands on the radiator, each wound was just burning. Like a burning sensation.
Searing pain.
Yeah, and then I was told my brother came. And the one who's just older than me, he came and he was arrested because police thought he might have been one of the attackers. Yeah,
Extraordinary.
So it's hard to put into words what happened at the time, obviously, because in the moment you're not really thinking, you're just reacting, right? But afterwards, during your healing period, I've read that you didn't have any sort of counseling or anything like that. Did you? What was that like, having to deal with it yourself, or did you have a close circle to the support system to help you? Or
at the time, I didn't have counselling. I didn't even know I was entitled to it. The police didn't let me know, and I've said this before, I'm not proud of it. For about a month or 2 after the incident, I was on crutches for about a month. I couldn't bend my legs. The stitches that were above my knee didn't allow me to bend my legs. So I was on crutches for about a month, and I went to college about 2 weeks after being stabbed. The boys could have came back for me. God knows. I was oblivious. I don't know what I was thinking. Just went back, and
2 weeks after.
Remarkable.
Remarkable, Joké. Did you think anything of that?
Honestly, no.
Well, it just seemed normal just to go back to college. And
just went back to college.
Mm.
And obviously a lot of people came, oh, you're the boy who got stabbed, or
Mm.
and I didn't have counselling. I was gonna say that I'm not proud of it, but about 2 months after, I carried a knife myself. I was scared. I was scared of that happening to me again.
Yeah, of course.
I don't want to lose my life. You know, that's what I thought. I thought that if anyone comes to me like that again, I'm going to do something to them before. It was more a fear thing, and I just didn't want to be in that position again.
So it's obviously translated a lot into boxing, because you want to be able to protect yourself and all of that, but going through something like that is really traumatic, you know. I can only imagine. And then you said that, correct me if I'm wrong, you said that you don't believe that we ever get over trauma, but we just find ways of dealing with it. I can relate to that with football. Obviously I'm sure you can with football as well. But what is that process like for you? What does it feel like when you're letting something like a sport like boxing or football to be an outlet? Why do you think that is? Why?
For me, definitely the self-defense. Like, I knew how to fight, as in I would defend myself if something came my way, but now I know how to defend myself properly. But ironically, many people see boxing as a violent sport, but boxing made me much calmer. And I think definitely nearly losing my life. I read a book once, and there are two things that change people. Is when you nearly lose your life, or traumatic events, or
near-death experience?
Yeah, near-death experiences or illnesses. And I think that's what... Sorry, I've gone off on a tangent. That's what...
What book was it? Do you remember?
I can't remember the book, but I know the guy, Jim Rohn.
Jim Rohn.
Yeah, he's a motivational speaker. I listen to quite a lot of his talks on YouTube, and I've got a few of his books. But
cool.
For me, that's why I picked up boxing, was to defend myself, and it was a distraction. In many ways it's healthy, but in many ways it's not, because when you distract yourself from issues, the issues are eventually going to bubble over. You can't run away from issues. You need to face them. You know, I was so angry and hot-headed before, and I always felt like I needed to prove a point. Boxing made me realize that I don't need to. You trouble me. I don't need to prove that I can beat you up. I don't need to prove I can defend myself. Like, also the stabbing incident made me realize that life is much more important. Just walk away. Doesn't make me a coward. The way I responded, not that it was my fault, but I didn't need to respond like that. Why did I let my ego get the better of me? And choices, all it takes is just minute choices, and that can change the course of your life, literally.
You know, I've had loads of guys play football for me with stories over the years and backstories. Very few have kind of turned things around to the extent that Joké kind of has, and has developed this path that you're on, which is, this has made me think, I want to be like this, I want to find a new career, I'm motivated. People fall into bad ways and they can't always get out of them. You know, you've set about doing so many positive things, and you work as a mentor, right, in your day job. So what do you think kind of marks you out? I know it's hard to talk about yourself, and you're a very modest guy. What kind of marks you out, do you think, from other people? Do you feel like you've got certain qualities within yourself?
I think, so my eldest brother, he's in prison, life in prison. I saw how that changed the family dynamics. That really changed my brother, who's just older than me. That really changed him as well. He's now a school teacher. A lot of people say, wow, your brother's a teacher, from what he came from to him being a teacher.
That's amazing.
Seeing how that affected my mum, growing up in a Christian household, wanting to make a difference to people and just inspire people, I think that's the qualities that I bring to being a mentor. I just want people to know that there's other ways other than this, like this gang life, I'm badder than you life, or Because so many people get so drawn into it, and they don't need to be. You come from like a household where, okay, maybe your parents aren't very rich, but you don't need to, like, where this isn't like, I'm not condoning, but it's not like America where it's maybe a bit of a harsh reality.
Yeah.
You know, there are so many benefits we can get here that you don't need to go down that path.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I think from young, I would say from young, I was pretty much an old soul in that sense of I knew that I wanted to make a difference to people's lives and help people. I don't really care about fame, and famous for what? That doesn't bother me. It's more about, at the end of the day, when you're gone, people can be like, Joké, he helped me with this. Joké inspired me to do this. He was a great guy. Do you know what I mean? They're not gonna, and it's, again, these motivational speeches I hear, they're not going to remember me for a big flashy car I had or
exactly.
a big mansion I had.
So many people have those things.
Yeah.
It's funny because I kind of feel like you are so modest. We almost have to talk you into doing publicity. But it's great. That's great because so many people are massive self-publicists in boxing. But the nice thing is they get to talk to you about, well, I want to be British champion. But they also get to talk to you about your story, which is inspiring, and that's what we're here to sort of share, like the inspiration, the motivation, like, you know, the fact that, you know, you can go and talk to kids about, look, don't do this. This is what happened. You've got to try and avoid these pitfalls, right? And I guess everyone you can help is a bonus.
You touched on something that I can relate to. There's I was watching a show the other day. I can't remember what it was, but they mentioned something that happened to them, and it was really traumatic. And then they said, "I'm glad that happened to me, and it didn't happen to anyone else in my family." You know, there's things that we go through in life. For example, you experience what that effect had with your older brother on your mum and the rest of your family, and then going through something yourself. Do you resonate with that, like, and bringing that into fatherhood as well, with your family, and being like, I'm happy to take on whatever challenges, rather than anyone else?
I would say definitely, if you can learn from other people's negative experiences, try to take that on board. Unfortunately, sometimes you have to go through something yourself to learn. I feel that ultimately, what we take from every experience is what you should pass on. So that's what I'm trying to do, is like, what I've taken from what I've seen other people get involved in that I may have not been involved in, I try to pass that on. What I've been involved in, I try to pass that on. You know, since becoming a dad, it's cliche, but it's the best feeling ever. Do you know what I mean? Like, when I think about it, it brings tears to my eyes, because like, I think that my daughter now, my wife now, I wouldn't have experienced that. Obviously, you never know what you haven't experienced, but I wouldn't have experienced what I have with them now. And I just think to myself that, like, this is why I want to be the best I can be, so that my daughter can look back and be like, this is what my daddy done, and things like that. Because it's crazy. Like, she's my world. Honestly.
I'm sure they're already proud of you, your whole family.
It's mad.
Last month, a few of us went to watch Joké box. It was his third pro fight, right? But his wife and baby were in front of us. So is that part of the fan? Like, you want them to see the whole journey. You want your daughter to kind of be grown up, like, watching. And then, you know, in a little while, she'll understand, like, what's going on as well. By the time you're hopefully fighting for British titles and stuff, you know, you're a pound man, aren't you?
It's ironic because I met Leah, my wife. So I've been boxing about nearly 8 years. I met Leah in about 6 months into when I first started boxing.
Okay.
So Leah came to my very first amateur fight.
Wow.
My daughter was one on my first professional debut. My second fight was on my wife's birthday.
Yeah.
And it's just
yeah.
like, so Leah has seen how much time I've put into this sport, the ups and downs, the sacrifices, and I mentioned before, like, boxing is the hardest thing I've ever done. I've got a university degree. It was harder than doing my dissertation, which I left very last minute, 10,000 words, all-nighters. Boxing taught me so much, and it boosted my confidence, not in terms of the physical aspects, I can defend myself, but I genuinely, and this is what I want people to take from boxing, what it's taught me. I genuinely believe there's nothing in this world I cannot do. As long as I put my mind to it, I can do it, because boxing taught me with consistency, you get better, you get fitter, you get stronger, and discipline. If I start drinking, smoking, taking drugs, when I get in that ring, that opponent's going to punch my head off, literally. You know, I can't look to my coach to hold my hand. It's just me now. So anything I didn't do is going to be shown in that ring. You can get a boxer who's better than you or whatnot, but ultimately that's what boxing taught me. That if I want to learn something, if I want to learn coding, I'll go and learn coding. If I want to learn photography, I'll go and learn that. There's nothing I cannot do. That's what boxing has really instilled into me, because the blood, the sweat, the tears, the sacrifice, you can't walk away from this sport not being stronger mentally, not just the physical, but mentally. That there's nothing I can't do.
Do you have a catalyst moment where you realized, I can see myself going down this certain road, but I'm not going to stay here. I'm going to go down that road? Because we can all imagine things that we can do, but actually going for it is a whole different story. Do you have a moment, or was it many different moments building up?
I have a moment in terms of me going for titles, or like different avenues other than boxing?
I'd say with boxing first.
I feel like the way I would compare it to is like when you're in a relationship, a long-term relationship, and then you feel like at times that relationship might not be working, but you've spent so many years here, you're going to make it work. That's how I feel like with boxing. I've given boxing so much that I didn't come this far just to give up at the hurdles. This sport, I love it, I hate it, I love it, I hate it. There's times after a hard training session, I sit there thinking, why did I pick this sport? But I've given so much to it. This is my other relationship. I'm not giving up. I can't just go all the way.
When you're, we see you as this nice guy on, off the pitch. When you're on the pitch and when you walk out to the boxing ring, something switches, doesn't it? So is that like an old Joké coming back? Is like the old fire returning when you walk up to the ring?
Yeah, so my coach always used to call me, he still kind of does now. He calls me Joké the Merciful. He says I'm too kind. I'm too. And for me, because when I'm in the ring, I have fun. I'm quite skillful. I move a bit, almost like I'm dancing. So my last fight, which ended in a technical KO, I was a bit more hot-headed. I got frustrated. I lost my head a bit because my opponent came to hug me lots. He got hurt and kept hugging, holding. I lost my head, and also what spurs me is my daughter being there. I think to myself, my last fight, I think my daughter saw me. She was crying because she wanted to get closer. So Leah brought her closer to me, and I looked at her, and I thought, I need to win for you. That really just spurs it. I can't lose. I've got to win for you.
And how important is it having Leah and your daughter to come home to afterwards, and to embrace that? How important is that? Because imagine what it would be like if you were just on your own.
I think it's very important. I read again that many men don't get into a relationship because they feel that will slow down their career, not realizing the right person will propel you. And that's literally how Leah and Sage is for
Yeah, I
me.
love that.
I was very comfortable growing up in the sense of I had a retail job after finish uni, retail job. That family there was amazing. It wasn't the best paid, but we had good fun in that job. But meeting Leah, and she's not materialistic. She doesn't want much. She just wants me to give family time, be open, honest.
Yeah.
But being a family man made me realize that wanting to do more, make more, so your family are more comfortable isn't a bad thing, and it's only made me want to just push harder and harder and harder for them. So that's how important it is having them there.
No, I completely agree, because there's so many sportsmen that they're not family men, clearly. So I'm wondering how they do it.
yeah. This is the thing. Joké's such a humble guy, and I think when you come and play football for us, like, I just know you're going to be so disciplined. Like, he's not going to be like burning the candle at both ends. Like, he's one guy I don't need to worry about in the team. So so that's a nice kind of thing to have, and I think that maybe rubs off a little bit. You've kind of transformed things so much, really, and we're sitting here now with a positive guy who's got loads going on, family life, career, also the boxing career. So you've got loads of sort of stuff going on. Where do you sort of think this can take you? We spoke about British titles and stuff like that, but you could go further.
Yeah, like, so when I first started as a professional, I had a few talks, and I said I would be happy to win the British title and hang up my gloves. And then someone said, wouldn't you like to go further? And I was like, do you know what? Because I started what's considered late. And since becoming a dad, I've realised how much time it takes away from being the family man I would want to be. I was like, no, I'm okay with that. And then I think after my first fight, I was like, no, I want to go further. So for me now, British title would be the minimum. It would be the minimum. And I want to go as far as I can go. Let's see what I can do in the next 7 years of the sport. Luckily, at my weight class, super-bantamweight, there aren't many adult men who are my weight. I'm light for my weight. So for example, I think in the UK alone, there's only no more than 30.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. If you look at, if you look at welterweights or middleweights, there's about 200 and something, 300 and something. So 32. So after this, my next fight, I'll be in contest for my first title, which is a southern area. That will open a lot of doors for me to then push on for the British.
Definitely.
I definitely believe I can get that.
Well, we believe in you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We're rooting for you.
And we're at Millwall today, where David Hayes been before. He's walked on the pitch with his belts, having come back with world titles and stuff. A Bermondsey guy. Chris Congo, who you know as well, current fighter, has been in this very studio with the club, and you could be the next guy from South London, that people are taking notice of, and I think people need to know about this guy.
100%. You touched on. Let's go on to fear, because everybody's got limiting beliefs, everybody's got fear, and that I personally believe that's what holds you back. There can be external circumstances that hold you back, but ultimately it's up to you. So you've even just said that you went from the British title being your ultimate goal to now it's the minimum goal. It's gonna keep happening, right? Those thoughts are still gonna keep coming to you. How do you tackle that? How do you get past your limiting beliefs and your little voice in your head saying that maybe you shouldn't be doing it or you can't do this? Like, how do you get past that?
If I'm totally honest, I don't know if I'm delusional. I don't know if I'm delusional, but I think the only thing that will hold me back right now is the financial aspect. Because starting off, like any business, I'm a business now, and you don't make a lot of money when you start off. The money comes later on. And trying to juggle this. Trying to do this with the financial burden is that's the part that is quite unfortunate, because there's so much talent that goes unnoticed, but many people have to stop because of the finances.
Yeah.
For me, it's just trying to. I don't care about breaking even. Just breaking even right now so that I can fight. Get to the level where, okay, I'm contesting for titles now.
Yeah.
The money will come in there. It's for me. It's the fear isn't of, oh, can I do this or not? I believe I can, and that's what I'm saying. I don't know if I'm delusional. I believe I can. I just think what will hold me back is if the financial burden stops me pursuing going further, because I would say I've put a lot of money into this sport, and that's where sponsorships come, and it helps big time. I have a sponsor who gives me 2 massages a week at the moment.
Wow.
That's helpful because right now my body's aching. I
Yeah.
had to miss today. I was meant to get a massage at 10:30 today, but I told you, the financial burden of that alone can be quite expensive. I have sponsors who pay for my medicals. I have to have a brain scan yearly, eye test, blood test. All of that almost comes up to £1,000. It's about £950. Ticket sales. It's just that's the part of the boxing that you're just like, oh my gosh, I just want to fight. Many people get into this sport for the money, but I'd be lying if I didn't say I want to earn something from this, because my wife's been amazing. She's been supportive. She needs to, I want her to be able to relax, but it's just I just want to show that I got into something difficult and I just didn't give up. I believe I can go as far as possible. I've looked after my body. I would say I've looked after my body. I train well.
Cool. It's funny because basically without the money it's so hard to do what Joké's doing, and this is the thing, if really needs people to come and invest, it would be really handy. We had Josh Warrington on before, and he worked in a dentist right up to European title level. This is how hard it can be unless you're like the Anthony Joshua, like who's plucked from Olympics and things like that. So it is hard. So hopefully we can find those people to come on and support you.
Hopefully this helps as well.
That'd be good.
So I want to stay on that topic a little bit. I'm not going to go into the way the world is nowadays. It's obviously, there's a lot going on, and it is scary. I'm not going to lie. A lot of people want to go after their dreams, but they're scared. They're scared. We don't know what's going to happen. And then we have all personal experiences. So if you could say just one thing just from you, and if you could share one statement that you just really want the world to know, especially young people, what would that be?
I laughed because I thought of an example I gave to some year 10 students that I work with, I mentor at the school, and it was in particular about reading out loud and talking. I'm not trained in any of this, I'm just speaking. I am shaking a little, but one of the things that I always tell them is that anything in life, you have to ask yourself, you weigh up the pros and the cons, and one of the biggest cons should be, is it going to kill you? If it's not going to kill you, just do it. What's the worst that's going to happen? Honestly, if it's not going to kill you, just do it, and if it doesn't work, you've learned a lesson. You will learn something from it. You may face a bit of embarrassment if you fail at what you're trying to do or whatever, but embarrassment goes with time. And I can't put it any other way but lightheartedly like that. And another example I gave was, for example, not to bore anyone, but how I met Leah, my wife. She worked in a vegan cafe. I went in. I didn't know she worked. I went there. I saw. I thought, wow, this woman's beautiful. I wanted to talk to her. I didn't know how to. I came from boxing training as an amateur. I looked rough. My hair was rough. I was sweaty, whatever. And I thought to myself, she might think, oh, who's this guy trying to talk to me? And all of that type. Lots of things went through my head. I'm not going to lie. I thought, she might think, oh, I'm ugly. She might think all these types of things. But I said to myself, hand on heart, I said to myself, what's the worst that's going to happen? I talked to her with respect. She will either respond back with respect or say, I'm not interested. Oh, yeah, sure, why not? I asked her if we could exchange numbers. I said, look, I don't want to get you in trouble because you're working, but do you mind? She was like, oh yeah, sure, cool.
Wow.
8 years later, we have a 2-year-old. I'm happily married, and
That's
that's
beautiful.
the example I gave to
Yeah.
my students. You just have to think, is it going to kill you? Just go for it. You will learn something along the way. That's how you learn. It's through experiences. If you don't experience something, you can't really learn. You know, and you might find something else just from trying something you've never done before. You might find something else about you that you never knew. So yeah, just go for it.
And she turned you vegan after that?
A few people say that, but no, I was on that transition, hence why I went into the vegan camp myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes total sense.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, do you want to debunk some stuff that people say about being an athlete and being a vegan? Because a lot of people say that you can't have it.
Yeah, I don't mind. I would say so. I'm one of those. So I would take plant-based. I often say to people vegan because if you say plant-based, it's like, what's the difference? So vegans tend not to wear. They don't eat anything from animals, any animal produce, and they won't wear any clothing that is from animals. So leather, sheepskin, wool. Whereas plant-based, I only eat a plant-based diet, so I won't eat anything animal based. But I might wear leather if my football boots are leather or kind of
makes sense. Okay.
I would say I'm not one of those people that will force my. I just read some stuff. I love to read. I read some stuff. I'm like, oh, this can be healthier, and I do it like that because I'm not an expert, but what I read said it's healthier. Let me go and try. And Leah happened to be vegan, so it was easier to transition. And one of the biggest things I would say I've noticed is I don't produce much. In fact, I don't produce mucus anymore. And one of the things I read was dairy produces a lot of mucus. When I used to run, I used to like spit. I'm not a fan of spitting anyway, but like you might run, you get congested, you phlegm on the floor, or whatever it may be. Honestly, I can run, my airways feel clear. I would honestly say that's the biggest difference I noticed was my airways just felt clear. I don't get mucusy or congested. And yeah, so
I need to incorporate some more plant-based meals.
Yeah.
In my diet.
Every day is a learning day with Joké. Honestly, it's an education. Pleasure. Thank you very much for coming on and being our guest again today. Thanks, Andrei. Hopefully you enjoyed it as much as I did.
I loved it. It was a pleasure meeting you. Thank you for doing this with us.
You've been a great guest. There's always something to chat to you about. I know that because we chat a lot. So yeah, listen, just anyone watching or listening, get on the Joké journey. Follow him. He's got a Southern Area title eliminator coming up September, which obviously is not far away now. And then anything's possible, I reckon, in your career after that. That's what we believe, isn't it? So look forward to anyone wants to join. You're on socials, aren't you?
Yeah, you want to give your socials out?
So I'm yet to create my other socials. I use honestly Instagram. So my Instagram is Joke JOKE _E heritage HERITAGE.
We'll put it on screen. Yeah. Go follow him.
Yeah.
Follow this
support
guy,
him.
or even sponsor this guy. Thanks very much.
Okay,
Cool.
Thank you.
Been great having you. Cheers, guys.
Thank you.